Hi, welcome to the video. So this is a debrief summary of what went down a few days ago from start to finish. So what actually happened was last week the white van did turn up, parked, left abandoned at the bottom of the street. I do remember seeing it there last week. Didn't think anything of it because I just thought maybe people are having work done on their house or something, I don't know, or maybe someone owns it down the street. But it was left there, and the only time it became obvious in suspicion was Monday just gone, when the police were inspecting it. Now, when were the police called? Well, supposedly they were actually called last Friday. So it took them 3 days to get to our street. Something serious like this, it took them 3 days to react. Bit piss poor in a way, isn't it? And the only reason why a neighbour called the police was because they inspected the van, because they wondered why it was left there. And upon inspecting it, when looking through the window, they found a machete blade covered in blood on the front seat, in the, driver's seat or the passenger seat. So that's why they called the police. The van itself was locked, so you couldn't really do anything. So yeah, the police came eventually, Monday just gone, at night, probably about 1900 hours and onwards, and it lasted all the way up to 3 o'clock in the morning. And throughout the investigation, police arrived first in a car, I believe, or was it a van? It was a van. First it was a van, 2 guys, 2 police officers, just walking around at the bottom. Couldn't really see too much, but I could see the van in sight. I was looking through the window, and they ended up taping off the passageway. At first I thought, has something been found on the passageway? Drugs, a drug stash, needles, some weapon that might have been thrown over the rail, because there is, like a train track nearby, so maybe. But, later it became clearer. So after sealing the passageway off and supposedly where that van is, that area, I think another police car appeared, followed by 2 fire trucks, and there's like a total of 10 to 15 people there at once at the bottom, looking around. And aside from them finding blood on the outside of the van, as well as blood on the inside of the van, they did find an unknown substance or chemical substance, which was either leaking out of the van or found inside of the van. So they had to call a specialist in who had to scan the area or something for chemicals. They also had to check the grid nearby to make sure nothing's leaked into the waterways. I believe that was an all clear in the end. But yeah, they were inspecting the van for some time. Some of them were stood around, didn't know much what was going on. Other people were out as well, looking around. Lasted for a bit. Eventually they got the equipment out and opened the back of the van. Now, I couldn't quite see what was in the back of the van because I'm further up the street, but it looked like there was some kind of white cloth in the back. It couldn't have been anything too suspicious in the back, because one of the police guys did go in later, climbed in, had a look around. There wasn't much of a reaction, so I assume there was nothing bad found in the back of the van. And I'll explain my theory at the end of this video. So yeah, what ended up happening then, eventually once it was like all clear with the unknown substance and chemicals, whatever, the fire crew left because they've done their job, and then the police just stayed there up to 3 in the morning or so until a recovery vehicle arrived to take away to forensics to get the blood checked out, find evidence, fingerprints on the weapon and on stuff like that. Now, the conclusion / theory, in my opinion, most likely, whether it was gang related or some kind of hit on someone, or it was just a random attack, what most likely happened was it occurred elsewhere far away, maybe, because I didn't see any reports anywhere online. Some kind of attempted murder or just attack on someone further away. The individual panicked, rushed back to their vehicle, may have as they put the hand on the bonnet or on the handle of getting in. That's where the blood smeared. And then upon getting in, they might have chucked the machete on the passenger seat and then just sped off, and then came across our street and then decided to dump it down there at the bottom. Got out frantically, leaving evidence behind the blade, locked the door, may have thrown the keys over the railway track, and then proceeded to run down the passageway either way and then escape. And that's the end. That's most likely what happened. Now, like a day or two later, I did have a look down there myself. I noticed there was like some weird white stuff on the ground. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that what the chemical substance was, or if it was used by the fire crew to neutralise it, maybe. One or the other. Didn't really see any blood. It was just on the van itself. A few days ago, I was going to walk down to the bottom. I was going to go somewhere. I was going to walk down to the bottom and I would have passed the van. And if I looked in, I would have been able to see it myself, the blade. But unfortunately, I didn't go out that day, so I wouldn't have seen it. So that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, that's what happened. Don't know if we'll find out. Most of the time, we never find out. Typical police, typical news, never really report much. I think it would take a terrorist attack down our street for it to be reported in the news. But yeah, it's not the only thing. There was another time in the past where one neighbour was ambushed and assaulted down the passageway, walking down, and then out of nowhere, he got hit on the back of the head with a baseball bat, left there, bleeding out. And then it took, an hour or two later, a passerby found him, unconscious, his items robbed, and then sent to the hospital. He was okay in the end, but not something you would expect to happen in that area. Plus, the person got away with it, the one with the baseball bat. That's typical. And then there was another time on the main road, very nearby to us, where a white van, gang members or a group of guys with machetes armed, ended up attempting to kidnap someone. Person tried getting away. They got slashed in the face, probably a deep cut or deep wound or so, and then stumbled down the passageway to escape somehow. And some neighbours who were walking down there at night came across the person and called for help. But once again, machete related incident. Those happened years back. It's not frequent, but it seems to be whenever something happens, there's a bit of impact. So yeah, that's just basically a summary. Hopefully it's been explained clearly. There's not been any updates since, and I highly doubt there will be any updates. It's just the way things are. But nothing bad happened afterwards. I've been down there since, not come across anything. I did try looking on the other side of the railing, see was there any keys chucked over, was there any items, but I couldn't find anything. I couldn't see anything. I think at the end of the day, the person panicked and they weren't exactly professional in hiding evidence because they left the item from the scene of the crime in that van. Yes, they locked the van, but they left evidence or some form of evidence. Unless he was wearing gloves, you never know. But yeah, just wanted to do this summary just to put it all in one place and make it clearer so people know what's happened or what is going on. Nothing happened to me, no one attacked me, nothing happened whatsoever. Obviously you would know because I probably have bloody slash marks on my face. I have blood all over me, which I clearly don't, so nothing happened. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I don't know what videos I'll do next because we're getting a new phone or like an upgrade. I don't know when it's going to come. I think it's shortly. It might be a bit of delay for videos because I might have to try and transfer, all the current material onto the newer device, stuff like that. And I guess just have to get used to the new layout, I guess, on like a new device, stuff like that, learn it, and the odd editing apps and stuff, get used to using that, because it will probably be new to what I'm currently using, so it might be a bit of a delay. But yeah, as for that MK video, yeah, it should be coming out, but if there's no permission, then I'm not going to risk it. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, talked too long. That's it for now. See you next time. Goodbye.